Welcome to Piloto Exchange Speaker Series. My name is Sofia Stolberg, and today we are here with Martina Trucco from HP Labs. Martina, thank you for coming and welcome to Piloto Exchange.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
So Martina just talked to us about global trends in IT and how entrepreneurs can use these to grow their businesses. Martina, could you just briefly summarize the biggest trends, maybe the top 3 trends in IT in the future, and then how entrepreneurs can use that to grow their businesses?
I think probably you can see the top 3 trends are all really interconnected. The biggest one that we're going to see, in the next 3 to 5 years, and even beyond that, having a big impact on the economy and on IT, is going to be the Internet of Things trend. So everything that today that we know, appliances, PCs, smartphones, and everything in between will have sensors on it, will be connected, and all this information is going to be coming together, and we're going to need to really be able to do things with that information to be able to extract value out of it. And
so I think the refrigerator is going to talk to us.
Exactly.
And tell us we need more ice.
Exactly. And maybe if you have a crop yield application, for example, and you're a farmer, it might actually be able to tell you that you need to water one part of your field instead of another one, so that you can be more efficient with the water that you're using. So you can imagine getting that on your smartphone and knowing that information in real time instead of having to wait for someone to go out to the field to actually check it.
So the implications for entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs that are now looking towards these trends and saying, how can I ride this wave? How can I grow? How can I use these trends in my favor? What would be your advice to them?
I think one thing that's really important is to really think about the real value in today's economy is going to be data. It's all about the data. And so I think being able to find ways to deliver value from that data by the fastest, most efficient route possible, I think is going to really help a lot of businesses unlock some new business models. So I think that thinking about, kind of changing things around, saying how can, having access to more and more data, which is, a trend that's already kind of happening today, how can that change the way we do different kinds of businesses? It doesn't have to be just that application from agriculture. We can think of lots of different things, like in manufacturing, in healthcare, in different consumer applications, where having access to a lot of data from lots of different sources, whether it's social media, whether it's video and images, whether it's in your company or your, a company's partners, all of that data being able to come together, how can that change the way that you can actually, provide services, the way you can know more about your customers, and how can you then use that to provide, applications or services or novel business models as an entrepreneur.
So that big data problem, right? Recently we've been seeing it all over the press, as early as 2010, everybody talking about big data. How can we process that data today to yield benefits in the future for entrepreneurs?
Well, today it's still kind of a challenge. We have a lot of different kinds of data sources. So you have structured data that's sort of very, it's set in a database and you know what it looks like, and then you have all sorts of crazy unstructured data because when somebody tweets, there's no structure to a tweet. It just kind of goes out into the world. So that's one of the things that we're seeing is a real trend to try to find ways to actually bring that data together. And so being able to actually interconnect those sources of data is where you can get a lot more value. So you can take the social media example where you see a lot of customers are saying, you can use sentiment analysis techniques, and there's a lot of companies that are already working in this area to actually understand the sentiment of the customers around your brand, for example. And then if you then take that a step further and you connect that to what you know about your customers in your company, you can actually then derive even more value from that, where you don't only know how they felt about something, you actually could figure out if that affected their buying behavior, for example. So I think that that's a real trend that we're seeing in kind of interconnecting these data sources together. But it's still a challenge, and that's why we still see it as a really big emerging trend, because there's a lot of work that still needs to be done.
Lots of opportunities for entrepreneurs in this area as well.
And we're seeing a lot of growth in the use of open source tools like Hadoop. Is something that's really continuing to be important. And as we see more growth in that area, that opens a lot of opportunity for people.